stop. Before you repeat another affirmation in the mirror. Before you post that fake happy story or force another loud, over-the-top version of yourself in public just so people don't smell your doubt, ask yourself this. If confidence was really about loving yourself and thinking positive, why are so many people who secretly hate themselves still running the room? Why do the loudest, most certain people, often with average talent, get the jobs, the partners, the influence, while the quiet, overthinking, good-hearted ones watch from the side? If being a good person was enough to feel powerful, why do you still rehearse conversations in your head after every interaction, replay every mistake, shrink around people who seem bigger than you? Why do you get small around those who don't care even half as much as you do? Here's the dangerous truth. The world does not care how you feel about yourself. It responds to how you present yourself. Confidence isn't a feeling. It's an identity, a posture, and a set of decisions you repeat until reality is forced to adjust. Right now, someone less skilled, less intelligent, less kind than you is winning. Not because they're better, but because they look more sure. They speak like they expect to be believed. They move like they deserve to be there. And the world, which is lazy and shallow, looks at them and goes, "Okay." Meanwhile, you hesitate. You write the message and don't send it. You get the idea and don't act on it. You see the disrespect and don't call it out. You think being careful is wise, but most of the time, it's just fear wearing a suit. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He watched bold, reckless men take everything, while cautious, thoughtful ones lost everything. He wasn't interested in fair, he was interested in effective. Let that sit. The wise man and the fool do the same thing, but one does it early, the other does it when it's too late. Same idea, same goal, different timing. One moves when the door is open, the other moves when the door is closing. That's you right now. You finally text back when the opportunity is gone. You finally speak up after the meeting. You finally leave when there's nothing left to save. You finally ask for more money when you've already shown you'll work for less. Dangerous confidence doesn't mean you stop feeling fear. It means you stop letting fear choose the timing. You take the shot when your inner voice is begging you for one more week to overthink it. You've just been trained to believe that delay keeps you safe. It doesn't. It keeps you invisible. And there's another layer. The world doesn't judge you by your intentions, your trauma, your potential. It judges you by what it sees, in real time. Your eyes, your voice, your body, your decisions under pressure. Machiavelli wrote one of the coldest sentences about this. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. You feel small inside, so you appear small outside. You feel like you're not enough, so your eyes drop, your shoulders round, your sentences curl up at the end like a question. You feel like an imposter, so you give off the energy of someone who hopes not to be noticed. They feel your hesitation. They don't see your inner war, they see your outer retreat. And humans are simple. If you don't look convinced by you, why should they be? This is where dangerous confidence starts. Not with "I am amazing" posters, but with a brutal decision. From now on, I will stop publicly agreeing with my weakest thoughts. But your body walks in slower, taller, calmer. But your voice comes out steady, not apologetic. But your mouth opens and speaks the sentence anyway. You stop allowing your inner doubt to shape your outer form. You let your actions side with your future self, not your fear. Dangerous confidence is not being loud. Loud is easy. Loud is cheap. Loud is often panic with a microphone. Dangerous confidence is walking into a room and not needing to prove you belong there. It's speaking slower when you want to rush. It's saying less when you want to explain. It's letting silence hang after you say something true, instead of tripping over yourself to soften it. Right now, your silence isn't powerful because it's full of fear. Your quiet isn't mysterious because it's full of self-erasure. But that can change. You change it by deciding one thing. I am done behaving like someone lucky to be here. Not because you're objectively better, but because if you don't believe that about yourself, no one else will bother. Let's get darker. The thing you've been avoiding your whole life is this. Real confidence will make some people uncomfortable. You were trained to see that as wrong. So you shrank. You became softer, smaller, more agreeable. You edited yourself down to the least offensive version. Machiavelli would call that madness, because he understood something most people never accept. Trying to be loved by everyone is the fastest way to be respected by no one. He's not telling you to be a villain. He's saying, if you have to choose between being someone people like but don't respect, or someone people respect so much that they are a little afraid to cross you, choose the second, every time. In your life, feared doesn't mean people expect you to be violent. It means they know there are consequences for treating you badly. It means they know you'll walk away. It means they know your standards don't disappear just because you're lonely or flattered. Right now, most people are not afraid of losing you. They're afraid of losing people who are harsher, colder, more selfish than you. But you forgive. You stay. You explain. You take the blame. You blame their childhood. You blame yourself. You blame the planets. You blame anything but their behavior. Confidence becomes dangerous when you flip that. From that mindset, your energy changes. You stop chasing after people who respond slow. You stop trying to win over rooms that have already decided not to see you. You stop explaining your worth to people who benefit from pretending not to understand it. You don't become rude, you become selective. Your attention becomes expensive. Your kindness becomes intentional. Your presence becomes something people have to earn instead of something you beg them to accept. Now we go even deeper. Here's something nobody tells you about confidence. It's not built by talking to yourself nicely. It's built by watching yourself do hard things and survive. You don't start believing you can speak in a room by hyping yourself up for an hour. You start believing it the third, fourth, fifth time you open your mouth while your heart is pounding and realize, I didn't die. You don't start trusting your decisions by researching forever. You start trusting them when you make them faster, live with them, and adapt when they're wrong. You don't start feeling worthy of good treatment by reading quotes. You start feeling it when you tell someone, no, that's not okay, and then don't backtrack when they pout. Every time you know what you should do and wait, you are training your brain to see yourself as the fool. Every time you know you're being disrespected and say nothing, you prove to yourself that your own voice can't be trusted to defend you. Confidence isn't a mystery, it's math. Number of times you acted while afraid, minus number of times you betrayed yourself to stay liked. That's your real confidence score. Right now, that number is low. Not because you're weak, but because you've been playing the wrong game. You've been trying to feel brave so you can act. The Machiavellian way is the opposite. Act, then the feeling comes later. You want to be dangerously confident? Start moving like someone who already is. You feel ugly? Walk like someone worth staring at. You feel stupid? Speak like someone whose thoughts deserve air. You feel unworthy? Sit like someone who doesn't intend to give up their chair. At first, it will feel fake. Good. You've been practicing being small your whole life. Of course, standing up will feel like pretending. But here's the twist. You've been pretending this whole time. Pretending you're less, pretending you're fine with crumbs, pretending you don't want more. You've already been acting. Now you're just switching roles. Machiavelli was obsessed with appearance, not as a lie, but as a weapon. He understood that most people will never see your inner world. They only get the trailer version of you, and that trailer decides whether they invest in the full movie or walk away. Dangerous confidence rewrites the trailer. I'm not here to be chosen. I'm not afraid of you walking away. That's when the room starts shifting. Some people will talk less freely around you. Good. Some will test you once, then back off when they realize you're serious. Good. Also good, because the opposite of dangerous confidence isn't humility. It's self-abandonment. You spent years believing that your softness was keeping you safe. What if it's actually what's been keeping you stuck? In the next part, we're going to make this even more practical. We'll walk through how dangerously confident people talk, move, negotiate, and say no in ways that change how others treat them without ever raising their voice. We'll bring Machiavelli back in as the ruthless voice reminding you, people judge by the eye, not the heart, and you can either cry about that or use it. For now, sit with this one shift. From today on, you are no longer waiting to feel confident before you act. You are acting as the wise man now, so the fool in you never gets a chance to finally do it too late. You don't have to become loud. You don't have to become cruel. You just have to become someone who stops apologizing for existing and starts moving like a person who expects the world to make space. The feeling will catch up, but the decisions, those start tonight. You've made the first internal decision. You're done waiting to feel confident before you move. You're done letting fear pick the timing. Good. Now we turn that decision into something the world can actually see, because right now, that's the real problem. Inside, you're waking up. Outside, your voice, your posture, your words are still loyal to the old you, the hesitant you, the apologizing you, the please don't be mad you. Dangerous confidence starts showing up the moment your behavior stops siding with your panic and starts siding with your standards. Let's start with the most obvious weapon you've been misusing, your voice. Listen to how you speak in uncomfortable moments, not when you're joking with friends, but when something matters, when you ask for a favor, when you say no, when you disagree, when you meet someone you think is above you. Your voice goes up at the end of sentences, turning statements into questions. You talk fast, like you're trying to squeeze your existence into as little time as possible. That's what insecure confidence sounds like. Not because you don't have anything valuable to say, but because you're speaking like someone who expects to be interrupted, rejected, or ignored. Your life obeys your voice, not just the external world, you. Your nervous system listens to your tone and decides whether to take you seriously. Command doesn't mean shouting. I understand you're upset. No exclamation marks, no nervous laughter after, no 5-minute TED Talk explaining why you're allowed to have a boundary. Just a clear line delivered in a calm, grounded voice. Practice this in tiny moments. On the phone, I can talk for 10 minutes, not, I'm so sorry, I might have to go soon. At work, let's do this instead. Not, I kind of feel like maybe we could try this. Is your heart still racing? Yes. Does your brain still scream, they'll think you're rude? Of course. Dangerous confidence is less about what you say and more about how willing you are to let it stand. Say it once, clearly. Then shut up. Let the silence do its work. The people who were used to steamrolling you will test that silence. They'll push. Why? What changed? Old you would rush to explain. New you might just say, it just doesn't work for me, and leave it there. That's command. Not because you control them, but because you finally control you. Now, tone is one side. Strategy is the other. Machiavelli never admired blind boldness. He admired something more dangerous. People who know how to be both calculating and fearless. Fox, lion. Reading and striking. Caution and courage. Right now, you're probably stuck in one of two traps. You're too fox. You overanalyze everything. You read people too well. You notice every micro-expression, every delayed response, every change in tone. You can see the traps from a mile away, but you never move. You die by hesitation. Or you're too lion. You rush in. You confront, demand, post, react, speak your truth in the heat of the moment. You feel powerful for 30 seconds, then realize you walked straight into the snare. Dangerous confidence is when the fox and lion finally start working together. Fox mind in real life looks like this. You walk into a room and you observe first. Who is trying too hard? Who is ignored? Who speaks and gets interrupted? Who listens and gets respect? Who jokes to hide insecurity? Who's watching more than they talk? You notice who only talks about themselves. Who remembers what you said last time? Who never asks anything, just extracts energy. You don't insult them. You don't rush to impress them. You just gather data. Then lion body kicks in when it's time to act. You realize someone only calls when they need something. You stop picking up every time. You see a coworker constantly taking credit for your work. You say, "Actually, I led that part," calmly in front of others. You feel a date treating you like a backup. You say, "This doesn't work for me," and leave. Comment, "I used to be all fox, knew exactly how everyone was using me. Then I became all lion, fought everyone." Fox reads the game. Lion plays to win. Together, they form dangerous confidence. You don't walk into rooms blindly. You see who's who. You don't stay frozen in analysis. You make moves when the pattern is clear. Fox without lion, the genius nobody respects. Lion without fox, the loud person nobody trusts. You need both. There's another enemy of your confidence you've been worshiping without realizing. Luck. How can I be confident? How can I be confident? How can I be confident? You're not wrong. A lot of your life has been out of your hands. But Machiavelli, who lived through wars, betrayals, exile, and chaos, refused to accept that everything was fate. Half. Half chaos, half choice. Yes, you were born somewhere you didn't choose. Yes, you were hurt by things you didn't deserve. Yes, some doors were closed before you even knew they existed. But half of your life is still what you decide to tolerate, demand, practice, and walk away from. And confidence lives almost entirely in that half. You can't control whether people will like you. You can control whether you let their dislike make you shrink or keep speaking anyway. You can't control whether every risk will work out. You can't control whether fear shows up. You can control whether it gets to drive or just sit in the back seat. Dangerous confidence doesn't come from pretending you control everything. It comes from squeezing every last drop of power out of the half that is yours. Don't have the perfect body? Own the way you dress, walk, groom, speak. Didn't go to the best school? Own your work ethic, your preparation, your curiosity in every room. Don't come from money? Own your reliability, your discipline, your refusal to waste the opportunities you do get. People don't respect you because you started with everything. They respect you when they feel this person squeezes everything out of what they have. Now let's bring this down to the micro level, the little behaviors that quietly scream no confidence even when you're trying your best. You say sorry when someone bumps you. You double text 3 times after they leave you on read. You watch someone misunderstand you and you panic, overcorrecting with a flood of words. Each of those moments seem tiny, but to people watching, even unconsciously, they paint a picture. This person believes they're a burden. This person believes they're lucky for crumbs. Dangerous confidence reverses that picture with small, repeatable moves. Instead of sorry for existing, you say, "Excuse me," when they bump you. Or you say nothing and just keep walking like you belong there. Instead of nervous laughter, you give a flat look and change the subject. The person who made the joke will feel the hit. Instead of double texting, you let the silence answer for you. If they wanted you, you'd know. If they're playing games, you just didn't join. Instead of begging to be accommodated, you say, "I'm not able to do that," and let them adjust, or move on. Comment, "Honestly, I thought my confidence issue was deep and mystical." Here's something you need to swallow. People aren't reading your soul. They're reading your patterns. And patterns are just repeated choices. You can't change how you feel overnight, but every single day, you can change one or two tiny choices. You sit in a chair like you plan to stay, not like you're ready to be kicked out. You hold eye contact 1 second longer than you're comfortable with. You give one fewer explanation than your anxiety wants. You let one silence sit instead of filling it with nonsense. That whisper is the beginning of real confidence. Here's the last dark layer for this part. Confidence without boundaries is just decoration. You can walk tall and speak slowly and quote Machiavelli all day, but if someone disrespects you and there is never a cost, your confidence is cosplay. Dangerous confidence means your self-respect has teeth. Someone talks over you every time you speak. You don't shout. You say, "I wasn't finished," and keep going. If they keep doing it, you talk to them privately or you start giving them less access to you. Someone keeps joking about something that actually cuts deep. The second time, you go cold. Less warmth, less engagement. They feel the difference. A manager keeps taking advantage of your silence. You document. You start asking, what are the priorities? You're not trying to prove you're strong. You're living like someone who assumes they are. Dangerous confidence is quiet, not because you're scared to speak, but because you don't waste words on people who aren't listening. You don't argue with everyone who misunderstands you. You let some people be wrong. You don't chase everyone who pulls away. You let some people go. You don't correct every rumor. You let your results do that work slowly, painfully, beautifully. At this point, if you're honest, you can feel the fork in the road forming. One path, you keep living like before, overthinking, then doing nothing, talking soft while your mind screams, bending your standards to avoid losing people who would drop you for far less, blaming luck and timing while ignoring the half of your life that is in your hands. The other path, you start acting like someone you're a little scared of. Not because they're cruel, but because they don't negotiate with their own fear anymore. In part 3, we're going to weld all of this together into a final transformation. How dangerous confidence looks in conflict, in negotiation, in rejection, in loss. How to become the person who doesn't just feel stronger, but moves through the world in a way that makes others adjust around you, not the other way around. For now, remember this. Your voice is either a command or a confession of doubt. Your mind is either fox and lion together, or it's prey. Your life is either ruled 100% by fortune in your head, or you finally claim your half. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the decision that, from today on, fear does not get the final vote. And you just started voting against it. You've changed more than you realize. You're starting to hear yourself differently now. You catch the way you used to apologize for breathing. You catch the way you used to laugh when something hurt. You catch the way you used to talk fast, shrink small, agree quickly, just so nobody was uncomfortable. This is where dangerous confidence really begins. Not when you have a good day, not when you win, but when pressure hits, people test you, life doesn't care about your healing, and you still move like someone who refuses to give their power away. Let's go straight into the situations that used to break you: rejection, loss, embarrassment, failure. Because if your confidence disappears the second someone says no, the second a plan collapses, the second you look stupid in public, that's not confidence, That's costume. Machiavelli understood that anything worth having comes with risk, exposure, danger. He wasn't scared of that word. He respected it. Read it again. You want a great life? Danger. You want a great career? Danger. You want a great relationship where you show up as yourself and still get chosen? Danger. Danger of being rejected, danger of being mocked, danger of failing, danger of losing people who preferred you weak. You've been trying to build a great life while avoiding the very thing every great life passes through. How is that supposed to work? Comment, low-key realized I've been praying for big results with low risk, low embarrassment, low rejection settings on. Dangerously confident people are not fearless. They're honest. They look at a situation and think, yes, I could get hurt. Yes, I could fail. Yes, they could laugh. You've been acting like fear is a stop sign. For them, it's just a warning label. This will hurt. So when you feel fear now, you don't automatically obey it. You interrogate it. Is this fear protecting me from real danger? Or is it protecting me from embarrassment, temporary discomfort, someone's opinion? Much like rowing alone with no plan, fake danger. Sending a message that could be ignored, applying for something you might not get, saying no to someone who might be upset. You stop treating fake danger like death. You start treating it like tuition. You want to be dangerously confident? You pay in discomfort. You pay in awkward silences. And here's the twist. Every time you survive that, your nervous system realizes, oh, that didn't kill us. That's when your confidence becomes less fragile. Comment, once you've lived through worst-case scenarios and you're still standing, fear gets a lot quieter. Now let's talk about adapting, because confidence isn't just stubbornness. That's not power, that's rigidity. Dangerous confidence is flexible. It evolves. It reads the times and adjusts without losing its core. You want constant success? You can't stay the same. You can't dress the same mentally, emotionally, spiritually in every season of your life and expect the world to keep rewarding you. At 15, maybe being loud and chaotic was confidence. At 20, maybe saying yes to everything was confidence. At 25, maybe you thought proving yourself nonstop was confidence. But at some point, real power requires a different conduct. You can't stay in prove mode forever. You can't stay in say yes to everything forever. You can't stay in loud equals strong forever. That might mean, in your 20s, confidence was taking wild risks. In your 30s, confidence is saying no to chaos and building something stable. In a toxic environment, confidence was surviving. In a healthy environment, confidence is letting people in without sabotaging it. You adapt, not to please people, but to stay effective. Old conduct, bite your tongue, keep the peace. New conduct, speak calmly, early, before resentment rots everything. Old conduct, grind until you collapse, then brag about being exhausted. New conduct, protect your energy, because drained people make desperate decisions. Old conduct, chase people who treat you like an option. New conduct, let them feel your absence and give your energy where it multiplies. Machiavelli isn't telling you to become fake. He's telling you to stop being loyal to strategies that obviously don't work anymore. That's scary, because your old identity is comfortable, even if it's miserable. You know how to be insecure. You know how to be the one who apologizes. You know how to be the one who plays small. You don't yet know how to be the one people adjust around. But you're about to. To fully become dangerously confident, there's one more enemy you need to see clearly: your immediate needs. Machiavelli's perspective on human nature was savage but accurate. He didn't sugarcoat our weaknesses. He saw how easily people could be manipulated when they needed something strongly enough. food, money, security, love, approval. You know what that means? The more desperate you are for instant relief, instant approval, instant love, instant validation, instant distraction, the easier you are to deceive. Advertisers know it. Politicians know it. Manipulative partners know it. Narcissistic friends know it. They don't have to overpower you. They just have to offer you a quick fix for your need. You're terrified of being alone? They breadcrumb you. Just enough attention so you'll stay, no matter how badly they treat you. You're starving for validation? They give you compliments when they want something, and you forget every red flag. You're addicted to comfort? They offer the easy path, and you abandon every boundary you swore you'd keep. Comment: the scariest part of that quote is realizing I've been my own deceiver too. Dangerous confidence doesn't mean you stop having needs. It means you stop obeying them blindly. You feel lonely, but you don't text the person who always leaves you worse. You feel insecure, but you don't perform for people who never show up when you actually need them. You feel scared about money, but you don't crawl back to a boss or client who abused your time and energy. You tell your needs, "I hear you." That's when manipulation loses its grip. Because if someone can't control you with silence, with love bombing, with guilt, with fear, they have to meet you as an equal. This is what dangerously confident really means. Not that you never feel scared, not that you never feel insecure, but that nobody gets to use those feelings as levers to move you. Now picture how your life looks when this version of you is fully online. You walk into rooms and don't immediately scan for who's above you or below you. You scan for energy, alignment, opportunity. You're not trying to be the most liked. You're looking for where you can move pieces. You speak and don't watch people's faces like a scoreboard. You say what you meant. If they misinterpret, you clarify once. If they still twist it, you let them be wrong. You get rejected and it stings, but you don't collapse. You think, okay, that wasn't my door, and you knock on the next one. Or you build your own. You stop explaining constantly. You stop oversharing as a way to buy closeness. You stop performing likability. You become stiller, colder in the best way, warmer in the right places, less noisy, more precise. Comment: the craziest glow-up isn't physical. So let's recap what this video has really done to you. You killed the illusion that confidence is a feeling you wait for. You saw it as action you choose before you feel ready. You stopped worshiping being liked and started valuing being respected, even if it means some people are uncomfortable. You stopped seeing fear as a stop sign and started reading it as a price tag on anything great. You learned to use your voice like a command, not a constant apology. You started combining fox brain and lion heart, reading people clearly and then acting decisively. You stopped pretending everything is fate and claimed the half of your life that is still yours to direct. You faced your worst patterns, apologizing for existing, over-explaining, chasing, breaking your own standards in front of everyone, and you decided you're done. You saw how your immediate needs made you easy to play, and you chose long-term respect over short-term relief. That is rewiring. This was about becoming the sort of person whose confidence is scary to weak people, attractive to strong people, and untouchable by manipulators. You are not going back to the version of you that begged to be chosen. You are not going back to the version of you that whispered every truth. You are not going back to the version of you that sold self-respect for scraps of attention. From here on, you move differently. You don't need to announce it. They'll feel it. In the way you pause before you answer. In the way you say no without a novel attached. In the way you stop chasing when someone pulls away. In the way you hold your frame when someone tries to shake it. You will still doubt yourself. You will still have bad days. You will still be human. But your baseline just changed. You are no longer led by fear. You're aware of it, and you walk anyway. You are no longer defined by rejection. You feel it, and you rise anyway. You are no longer easy to move. You listen, but you decide anyway. You didn't become perfect. You became dangerous. You became the one who doesn't break just because life stops being gentle. If you felt something shift while you watched this, don't let it stay a feeling. Turn it into a signal. If you're done letting fear pick your timing, like this video. If you're ready to become the kind of person whose confidence doesn't disappear when people test you, someone they can't control, can't predict, and can never drag back into the old version, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what comes next. Drop a comment with "dangerously confident" so I know you're not just consuming this, you're choosing it. You're deciding that from today on, your actions will side with your future self, not your fear. And send this to the one person who has no idea how powerful they are yet. The overthinker, the quiet one, the nice one everyone assumes will always stay soft. The world has taught them to be harmless. It's time they learn how to be controlled by no one. Because this isn't self-help, this is strategy. This is war. And after this, you're not just in the game, you're walking into every room as a weapon.